Hi.
I'm with Spencer Chrislu of MQA, and we're going to have a very quick conversation about, firstly, what MQA is, where it's going, and what fundamentally it means for members of AV forums and the wider British audio public. So, Spencer, let's start at the ground level. What is MQA, and what are the benefits of it?
Well, MQA is it's actually a revolutionary new audio technology. It is a way of looking at digital audio in it's unprecedented, in a way that has never been done or even conceived before. The core behind it is new findings in neuroscience that gave us new insights into how we hear and how we process and perceive sound. In the real world, it turns out that we can perceive two separate and distinct happenings on the order of 5 to 8 microseconds apart. And if we turn that into kind of frequency things, that means a perception of well over 100 kilohertz. Now, we know that we don't hear audio, we don't hear tones above 20K, but the research has shown that we actually perceive these impulse envelopes well above the CD standard rate. Furthermore, this idea of timing, the developers and the engineers behind digital audio, from the advent of digital audio, knew that in the time domain, regular PCM was actually not very linear. It was very flat, ruler flat in the frequency domain. And that's something that they focused on. Turns out that if you put an impulse into a standard PCM system, what comes out is something that rings, has an impulse, and rings again. So this has the effect of taking that very sharp transient and smearing it in time. So this actually reduces resolution in digital audio. And especially this pre-ring that happens is actually quite unnatural. Doesn't happen in the real world. And the thinking behind it is that it is causing, in essence, a stress on our hearing system, that we are starting to hear the sounds and process the sounds before they actually happen. So, in a nutshell, what MQA does is actually remove all of this pre-ring and all this post-ring and restore those transients to their original natural way. The effect of this is that when you listen to an MQA encoded track, it sounds much more natural. It sounds as if the musicians are in the room. You get the same cues as if it's in the room. Gone are the artificial hardness that often is attributed to digital, the glassiness, the glare, these sorts of things that people have been talking about since the advent of digital. Furthermore, so that's the first part. There are really 3 legs to MQA. The first part is this enhanced resolution, even at the highest sample rate and bit depths. So we have taken masters as high as 384, 24-bit, taken them from the engineers, processed them with MQA, handed them back to them, and they said the MQA actually sounds better than their original. And this is a concept that people find sometimes very difficult to perceive. How can anything sound better than the master that the guy worked on? And it's because there is this veil, this glare that is in between. We're not processing the sound. There's no DSP, there's no EQ, there's no phase changing in it. We are being very, very precise with the audio. We're just removing this veil of time-based distortion that's from it. So when you do that, like I said, the resolution is amazing. But because we believe in working at these higher sample rates and bit depths, we know that the file sizes get larger, much, much, much larger. And by consequences, the bit rate that's needed to transmit them gets a lot larger. So the next thing we do is, after we have this gorgeous sounding file, but it might be very large at 192K and 24-bit, we take it and we fold it losslessly into a package that's no bigger than CD. So it's a 4424 or 48K file is actually the MQA file. Now it's still PCM. It still can be played anywhere. And that is the beauty of it. It's not a proprietary codec. You can take an MQA file, play it on your phone, play it on your TV, do anything you want with it. As soon as you present that, though, to an MQA decoder, it unfolds it perfectly back to its original high res. And this is why it's a natural for streaming. Because now you can take that MQA file. Tidal, for years now, has been streaming CD quality files. You can remove their 4416 file, drop in an MQA file in the same, and the entire ecosystem works from beginning to end. Continues as before. And just at the end of the chain, you're sitting there with your laptop or with your phone, and with an MQA decoder in it, and now it unwraps it into high res. And so then the third part about MQA is the A in MQA stands for authenticated. So MQA stands for Master Quality Authenticated. And what is going on there is that when the artist and the producer are in the studio and they say, this is the master, this is my art, this is what I want everyone to hear, they will have the ability to digitally sign that recording. And that signature will go into the bitstream, into the digital bitstream, and be locked with the file for the rest of its life. And then when it travels and it hits that decoder, it will light a light, an indicator, something that tells you, the music fan, that you're getting exactly what your favorite artist created. And furthermore, it tells the artist that their art finally got to all of their fans, unadulterated by anything that might happen in between. And there are tons of horror stories out there of artists and producers and engineers who work for months on a single, on an album, and get back and find out what their fans are hearing is nowhere close to what happened. Somehow, some way, something got changed, and it got resampled, it got downsampled. Somebody made an MP3 and then turned that in to the supply chain. These things are really bad. If any of that happens, the MQA light doesn't light on. It tells everyone that the master, when it lights, it tells everyone that is the master, that everyone is. So that's it in a nutshell. It's the best possible sound, resolution even beyond the highest sample rate in bit depths, in a package that's small enough to stream, makes it convenient for the way everyone is enjoying music today, that's fully authenticated, so there's no question anymore about the provenance. When that light lights up, you know that it came from the content owners themselves, and that is the file that everyone wants.
Brilliant. Now, you did mention Tidal earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst we've been out here, a release has gone out that, whilst we understood that Tidal had been working with MQA from some releases last year, that's turned from theoretical to actual, and
Right.
there is now the ability to consume an MQA content via the Tidal platform. So what are the ins and outs of that for people in the UK who are Tidal subscribers? How do they go about getting that content?
Well, what it means is when you sign on to Tidal, you'll get a pop-up page that says, hey, welcome to the new Tidal. There's a new section called Masters. And there will be the ability for those who are already Hi-Fi subscribers. It literally just comes with the package. So if you're a Hi-Fi subscriber already, everything comes along for the ride. For those who aren't Hi-Fi and premium subscribers, they have the ability to try the new service for 60 days. And if you're a new subscriber, you can try it for 60 days without paying anything. And check out what a real master recording sounds like, which is incredibly exciting. Inside of the Tidal app itself is actually an MQA decoder that will decode to MQA without having to invest in any extra hardware. And so this is a fantastic opportunity for people to actually start to experience what it's like to sit in a studio. I was lucky enough, and have been lucky enough in my life, to sit in a studio and to record major artists and to hear the excitement of what it is to have someone sing in a microphone and have it come out of those speakers for the first time.
I think the last question, I've actually, on the long list of things to do for AV Forums, is compiling a sort of short selection of some of the MQA compatible devices that have already hit the market.
Right.
One of them is actually sat in my pocket right now. I've got one of the Pioneer 100R DAT players,
right.
Which we've reviewed. Think is an excellent product. Do you feel that announcements like this are going to help push on some of the companies thus far that have been holdouts in terms of MQA support, that as they start to see real world general public access, as opposed to some of the slightly more specialised methods of getting MQA content, because it's been available in certain quarters for some
Correct.
time.
Correct.
But this is a much more real world accessible point. Do you feel that this is absolutely instrumental in sort of actually getting some of the holdouts on board and bringing it to a wider selection of product?
Well, to that point, I'll just say that while it seems, so we have 12 different vendors that are officially licensed and over 50 MQA products that are on the market right now. So there are 50 things that you can go out and buy right now. I will tell you that there are over 100 more companies that are under NDA and are seeking licenses as we speak. So while it may seem that many are holdouts, and waiting for stuff. It actually is
ready to.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of the development pipeline that some of this takes a little bit of time. And you're correct in your assumption that one of the things that may have held them back a little bit was, is the content really going to be there? So if I'm a business and I want to make an investment in something like this, I want to make sure that there's content that people are going to be able to do it, that then it becomes a feature for my product and may drive more sales to it. There may be something like that. I can tell you that the groundswell of excitement after yesterday's announcement has been tremendous. So we're hearing from everyone everywhere. You heard the announcement that Ottervana was supporting Tidal within their app, which meant that they were also supporting the MQA version of that. Rune came out and said that they were going to be next to do that. HD Tracks has announced that they're going to do a high-resolution service. Napster Rhapsody came out and said that they're going to be doing high-res service in the first quarter of 2017. So there is a large groundswell. I think people were pointing to the show in order to make some of these announcements and to make sure that they were all timed correctly. And we have been working feverishly with a number of companies. So I think those people who have been looking forward to MQA will be very satisfied in the very short future.
Brilliant. Spencer, thank you ever so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.